I hate the open skies. Growing up on a ranch in the middle of nowhere, tornado country, I've seen nothing but empty skies. It's like I'm staring out into an endless void. The occasional clouds are the only respite from the sickly blue expanse, like little puffs of cotton candy. But like all kids who grew up here, I was taught to fear the clouds. When they gathered in mass, it indicated a massive tornado. But I didn't care. The occasional twister would destroy some fields, but it always seemed less frightening than the void above me every day. This was until the skies disappeared. Clouds gathered one day, thick as my grandmother's soup. They coagulated above my head. As is tradition, we gathered up the horses and cattle, shuttered the windows, and moved into the tornado shelter to wait it out. A few hours later, we emerged. The clouds were still there. Was this a storm? So we kept the windows shuttered and the cattle locked up, and went to cut the channels in the fields to let the water out. Storms were not common here, but they were not unheard of. Once that was done, we waited for the storm. No rains came, no thunder was heard, and no winds blew, but the clouds were still there. We decided to ignore the odd phenomenon and move on. I took my wife and daughter to the nearby town and caught some movie about some blue animal, and had some dinner and returned home. The next morning, I woke up with the rays of sun on my face, as I have done for 40 years. Little did I expect the clock on my wall to read 9 a.m. I looked outside and the clouds were still there, dark and dreary. I went to the television and flipped to the local news channel, and the staticky anchor said after a while that the odd clouds were from some freak weather phenomenon and would dissipate eventually. That was 4 years ago. The electricity cut off a few days after the broadcast. The phone lines died the next day. Not that I could reach anyone I tried. My sister living in New York, the news channel, 911. Nobody was reachable. When I tried to drive out of state to the nearby city, I was shocked to find the military vehicles at the border. They stopped me, and a gruff-looking sergeant told me to return to my home, and a national emergency had been called. Guards patrolled the roads around my farm constantly, a different one every day. The crops died out the next month. We ate the cattle's next. The horses followed. And 3 weeks ago, the clouds had descended and surrounded everything in an impenetrable mist. We haven't left the farmhouse. We ate my wife just now. My daughter doesn't know. I have a loaded gun. I have 6 bullets. I used to hate the open skies. I wish I still did.